Welcome back to another episode of Can Blue, a hockey podcast featuring the Montreal Canadiens and your New York Rangers, who have been horrible, and I hate them, but I love them.
They've been also somewhat good. Okay, well, we'll talk about it because Montreal was on that trend downward, and then we're back now on the trend upward. So ever since the Four Nations.
Very true. I think this is going to be an episode of takes. You know, we have maybe 10 or so games left.
We have around 14.
You probably have a little less now, no?
It was 16 when it was
10 to 12 games left, let's just say.
Yeah.
And
we have a few games on hand over you.
Canadians currently are ahead by a point, I think, and the Rangers are just out of a wild card spot, but
you are tied with the Islanders. So
yeah, but the way that they've been playing,
you have
I'm
72
so out.
points, right?
I'm so out. I think we have 74.
We have 74. Oh no, yeah, you're tied with us, but you're outside. So you and I.
No, you have 75.
We're 75.
So we're 1 point
74.
back.
Islanders are 74.
No, they're 73.
73. So if they win tonight, what is our record, and does that compare? Is that better than the Islanders? And
if they win tonight,
the Islanders are playing
if they
the
win
Columbus
tonight,
Blue Jackets tonight.
They will be ahead of you because of regulation wins.
Okay, so they have more regulations wins. So therefore, we want Columbus to lose tonight. Win tonight. We want them to win over the Islanders.
Columbus is like 70. They have 71 points, so they're far back. So yes, it's still very, very close. It's gonna come down to the wire. But I was saying this, we didn't get a chance to record last week, but I've been saying this since last week, since the Rangers played the Oilers and just totally laid an egg as far as showing up to compete. And then same thing with the game they played against the Flames. They came out knowing it's one of the biggest games of the season, knowing that if they won in a decisive fashion, it could set them up for a nice little run to get into the playoffs, and they totally just didn't show up. The only person that was there playing, and it seems like the only guy on the team that's really giving a crap at this time of year is Shesterkin, and he'll have a game where maybe they score a lot. Again, I don't think it's on him at all, but people will be yelling to the ceiling, to the heavens, that, oh, why would you pay him 11.5? He can't even steal games for you. It's like, look at what everyone else on this team is doing.
They're not like he's
horrible.
Not like Price or Lundqvist.
I don't even. He can steal games. The team has been playing so bad, and there's
it's a skill issue.
It's not. It's an effort issue. It's an effort issue.
No.
On paper, it's not a skill issue.
They have the skill. Something's just not right working with the system that Lav has got going.
Yeah, the execution that they can't execute on any of their passes. They'll try to break the puck out of the zone, and then it'll just either get intercepted, be a pass behind the player. It's horrible. We've been talking about the defensive zone coverage kind of the entire year, how horrible that has been too, and how it's maybe the rush defense has gotten better, but actually in zone when the other team sets up, it's horrible. It's like they're not quick enough to get to the open puck, but then they also blatantly lose guys in the slot way too easily. And it's like, all right, maybe I've been watching a lot of more of different teams, and it seems like a lot of teams employ the man-on-man coverage. You said that Marty has them do it.
It's part of our big pain point that we had to go through in the beginning of the season. That's why we're losing.
But they figured it out?
But they figured it out.
Right, so then it's like, how do the Rangers figure it out? Is it because they're too slow and it's not going to work? Is it just like they don't believe in it? They're not picking up on things quick enough? Or what is it, and why does it work for some teams and not for the Rangers? It's just like...
Yeah, so I could be completely wrong, but I think the philosophy that Marty was trying to do and institute was that, you are beyond the role that you are playing. If you're caught out of position, you're expected to play as a person within that position, and compensate for the missing person being there, or you're always on the attack in the neutral zone, trying to pick up any turnovers as best as you can. So it's more it's the philosophy is expansion beyond, you being a lefty or you being a center, and applying that to everyone down the lineup. So, I mean, I could be completely wrong there, but it seems like, at least from what I've seen the players, everyone is picking up the slack somewhere sometimes.
For the Habs.
Yeah, for the Habs.
Not for the Rangers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what you need to add to the system. It can't just be, man on man.
Well, yeah, I just think,
stop.
all right, if I think what the Rangers have been doing is, okay, if we're trying to pick up the slack, like let's say someone gets beat, someone else will jump in and try to pick up the slack, like you're saying, and then it leaves a guy wide open. Like they're not grasping it and they're not executing it.
We've been caught
the
out
right
for
way.
sure, terribly, especially within the OT stuff. I mean, OT is another story because it is 3-on-3 hockey. It's not normal hockey, but
it's hard to I feel like it's always a coin flip when teams get to OT on who's going to win, because it's really just who's going to tire out first. I don't think usually the better team wins. It's kind of just who gets the better chance.
Right.
Sometimes that's made.
It's the first team to get that opportunity of a 2-on-1 or a 2-on-0.
It's almost every time they get that. So it's just as far as the Rangers have been going.
Talk about the offense, the shots on net and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Well, it seems like every game you look at the shot totals and the Rangers have single or not single digits, but single digits through 2 periods. And you're like, how does that even make sense? And, you hear Laviolette talking about how they're 2 east to west. We've heard that for probably 3 different coaches now.
What does that mean?
Meaning they're not driving and going to the net. They're trying to make plays laterally, east-west instead of north-south.
Right.
Which they have a lot of players who think that way. Like Panarin is kind of he gets into the zone, stops, tries to get it lateral. I think Zibanejad's a similar player where they're all trying to distribute and make plays happen side to side, and they only have a couple of players let's say Cooley and JT Miller that are driving hard in on the puck and making those north-south plays. So it's I get what you're saying, Laviolette, but also if your personnel doesn't do that and isn't used to doing that, you have to make adjustments. It kind of is a bigger talking point where I think Laviolette's time is done, even though it's only been 2 years. It seems like
really only 2.
This is the second year, so there's already been fire.
Wait, his first year was the President's Trophy year.
Yes.
Wow.
And now they're gonna miss the playoffs, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's already been fire Lavi chants.
That's
at
rough,
the Garden.
Man. You hate to see
the
that.
amount of times the Rangers have gotten booed off the ice this year. It is insane. It's more than I've ever seen.
Well, they deserve it.
Well, they deserve it, and it's also, I think it's deserved because, they should be better. It's not like they're a bad team and they're kind of putting up a bad effort, but they don't have the players. This team was the best team in the regular season last year, and now they're. I've been saying they're gonna miss. If they make it, I'm not even excited for them to make the playoffs. They don't deserve it. I don't think they're gonna beat any team they face. They're either gonna face the Caps or the Panthers, probably, if they were a wild card team. Best case, they get to play the Leafs, and the Leafs keep on leafing, and that's what would carry them to the second round. But
I'd be confident going into that matchup.
well, if it's a Habs Leafs, oh my gosh, a Habs Leafs first round again.
I don't want to get too ahead of myself.
I know,
because
but
things are looking good, but it could go south.
True.
Anytime.
The state of things are everyone is on Laviolette. They want him gone. Everyone is pissed off at Lafreniere because we just gave him a pretty good contract, and he didn't really take the step that we were expecting. But again, no one did on the team. The only player that's putting up a ton of points is Panarin. Still, he's still more than a point per game. And there's questions about how that shakes out in the postseason. How does he play in the playoffs? It's kind of been a little bit of a disappearing act for him. And then people were really pissed at Keandre Miller. They just are ready to ship this guy as far away as possible.
Also, Lafreniere, I
said
heard.
That.
Oh,
I just said.
No, you just said Keandre.
Yeah, I know, but before I said Lafreniere, people are pissed because he didn't take the next step.
Sorry.
And people are trying to get rid of him of Lafreniere too. But Lafreniere and Keandre Miller are kind of the 2 scapegoats right now of we got to get rid of him because they're not. Lav
is the main guy.
Dude, he's the main guy. What to keep
for a scapegoat?
Oh yeah, but I've seen it both ways, and it's okay, then they're gonna get rid of them, and I guess it depends who you get back.
Getting rid of
but
players
it's
is not
when they're
not
younger
gonna
than
fix it.
25.
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
not
the
gonna
move.
fix it.
Sometimes
Yeah.
players take, like Sam Reinhart.
See, at
had
this
a
point, you got to get rid
ultimate
of,
year.
if you can, Kreider and Mika.
I think Kreider's essentially gone already, and they might not even get much back for him at this point. It sucks. I don't think he has one primary assist this year. So he has like 4 or 5 secondary assists and like 20 points total.
Okay, same with Alex Newhook.
It's not good. Yeah, but Newhook is not supposed to be Kreider level.
Yeah.
And then the thing with Zibanejad is I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid yet on it, but like if we can have him as a winger, a top-line winger, and he plays well the full season, the way that he's playing February and March, I can stomach it way more, especially if because he's going to ultimately control if he goes anywhere. They're going to go to him, see if they can trade him. They could threaten not playing him, but I really don't think Drury has the ability to be so ruthless right now, because he did that with Goodrow, he did that with Trouba, and it kind of fractured the locker room. So I would hope Drury understands, all right, if I keep doing this with my players, especially the trusted and the veteran and the ones that guys look up to, it's going to keep reflecting poorly on me. So what I would hope is they go to him, this is Zibanejad, they say, these are a couple teams that want you and we are willing to trade you to. And if Zibanejad is like, fine, this year was a disaster, I'll go. Kreider's leaving, obviously, so I'll go. Which he very likely probably will say, no, I'm staying because I have this right. My family's here. I had kids here. I'm growing up here. It's fine. If that happens, before this last 2-month stretch, I was like, you got to get rid of him any means necessary because he's been so bad. But since moving him to the wing, giving him less defensive responsibility where he can just kind of like fly around and do what he needs to do on the wing, I can stomach it more. If he's your top winger, if you have your top wingers Panarin and Zibanejad, Miller is a center, you got to go out and get another center. Trocheck will be your number 2 or your number 3. And then you have Cooley and Lafreniere in there as well. We can build around that. It's just like, and it's also nice to have a guy like Zibanejad where, okay, yeah, he's playing wing most of the year, but if you need him to step in at center, or you need him like to understand the center role, let's say on a face-off or on a power play or something like that, he can slot in. So it's just like, I'm talking myself into being okay with him staying, even though earlier in the season it's like this guy's done nothing.
Because the likelihood of him actually being gone is like, I don't know, it's ambiguous, but also pretty low that he would move at the same time.
Much lower than I think Kreider, because Kreider has like half the league no trade list, so like the other half he can go to, and I think he's been so bad, and I think he's been pissed off at Drury because of his name being in the memo earlier this year, and just the way that it was all handled. Sucks because, again, he's like one of my favorites. I want him to be a forever Ranger. I want his jersey in the rafters, but after this year, I think he's hurt. I think they are going to try to cut ties with him.
Wow, that's like almost completely the exact opposite for the Habs, because there's like little to no drama right now. They're locked in. And
so, yeah, this is something I wanted to...
And Nick Suzuki even said to Hughes, he's just like, don't trade anyone. Please don't trade anyone. And Hughes was like, yeah, let's not do it. Let's run it.
So this is... let me finish on the Rangers, and I want to get into that, because the Habs right now, to me, are so much more entertaining and fun to watch on a nightly basis right now, than the Rangers. The Rangers are almost unwatchable. Like that's how bad it is. They have against they somehow beat Vancouver, and it was on Sam Rosen appreciation night, like send off night.
Yikes.
So like thankfully they won for Sam.
Okay, good.
But they had I think the official count was 12 shots, and somehow 4 of those shots went in against Lankinen, and then they had an empty netter. So it was a 5-3 final, but the deserve to win a meter, if you've ever seen that graph where it's like percentage of times that the one team will win versus the other.
Do they have that for every game, by the way?
You can look I think you can look it up. And
I gotta look it up for the Avs game.
That one, it was like 99% Vancouver deserved to win. And the Rangers had, 11 shots on goal. I think Lankinen's save percentage was like a 660 or something. It was horrible.
Disgusting.
But it's just like it's not even fun to watch. Like they can't do anything right most of the time. Somehow they pulled off a win that way, but against any team that's above 500 in the league, they look totally just scrambled and horrible. So tying that in, right? Like the team is in the dumps. The players aren't really playing well. They still are trying to mesh. They got a couple new guys in their D-core, and obviously JT Miller's here now. I still have. I think next year, especially with the coaches change, the vibes will be so much better because there won't be this like looming, hey, this is your last run. It seems like the last couple years, the older
pressure's off a little on that end.
Right. Well, the last couple of years, the vets have been like, oh, we don't know how many more times we'll get a chance at this. And now it's kind of like this is the season where it all falls apart. Lindgren, core, piece, gone. Goodrow, gone. Trouba, gone. So I think after a nice, needed offseason with no playoffs, because I do think they're missing it, they're going to kind of reset. They'll have some new faces, maybe some new vocal leadership that's going to be completely different from the Trouba regime and everything else. They're going to come back and they're going to be, I think a much better team next year. Like, just because they'll have that noise kind of in their rearview mirror.
They just need a hard reset.
They totally do, and it's just like at this point in time.
Restart the season.
There's just too much. I'm excited to see what Drury does, because I do think his job is safe. But I'm excited to see what happens in the postseason. Or the off season. It's kind of what I'm looking forward to. But like what I was saying, Rangers.
Man, you're already checked out of the season.
I'm checked out. It's not even fun. That's what I'm saying. If they make the playoffs, it's like, okay, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. You're not. You don't have this magic that I felt like you had the year before and 2 years before and 3 years before. So even when they lost in the first round of the Devils, that was the year they had Kane and Tarasenko and Nikola and all those guys. It felt like a special season. And those 3 seasons in a row where they went conference finals, first round, conference finals, it just felt like something was going right. Everything was going right. They had the most comeback wins in the league. The bounces were going their way, and then you have Shesterkin backing you up. That's just shutting the door on teams. That is just the opposite of how I feel right now about the team. So I'm very just like against how they have been playing. But what I can see in the Habs, at least, is it seems like they're maybe not to the same extent, but they have some of that magic and
there's some magic
and momentum going. So like even when they don't maybe win a game, they they're down, they come back, they send it to OT, they get that much needed point. That's how it's been seeming like it's going. And yeah, you're playing, you should have probably beat the Islanders. You had a lot of penalties, that kind of sucks. But then, you're playing the Avs, you're down 3, you come back, and then
we have the third most. Well, you mentioned the Rangers when they were playing really well, they had the most comebacks. Yeah. Well, we have the third most this year, around like 8 or 9.
There's something about that just teams can build off that, and the fact that they have a good, close locker room is what it seems like, and the fact that Suzuki went to Kent Hughes and said, like, don't trade anyone. We're all kind of feeling the rhythm, and they're making this push, and they're clearly believing in what Marty is selling to them as far as coaching goes. Like, that's just more entertaining, more fun, and it's also, like, just seems like they have more of that magic that could maybe get them into a couple different rounds.
Yeah,
I'm not saying they're contenders, but, like, let's say you play the Leafs first round. Good chance you win that because of the Leafs curse. Yeah. Then who do you play? Like a battered Tampa or Florida team that hopefully they beat the crap out of each other. Like maybe you could sneak through and maybe you get some good. You've been playing good against Tampa this year. If you play Tampa, maybe there's a chance there. And then
it'd be,
you could see it snowball.
I could see though a problem that could hit us is like the physicality of playoffs. Yeah. That could just like really wear us down. Yeah. Playing a team like Washington I think we'd definitely lose. Some people say like, oh, in 2010, remember that like when Montreal was last seed and they beat Pittsburgh and Washington. I don't think that's the case. Like the Washington team is like a huge and really good team. Like they will wear us down.
I think your best chance is Leafs first round, Tampa somehow beating Florida, and then you play Tampa. I think that's how you can make it to the conference finals. And then if you're in the conference,
we have a chance against them.
If you're in the conference finals with like the Devils aren't making it. They're have you been
don't
seeing?
think?
No. Well, first of
Well,
all,
Sheldon Keefe is like
yeah,
throwing the players under the bus.
Hamilton and Hughes are out for the year, so they're done.
So what? They're gonna drop out of the playoff
No.
spot?
I'm saying they're making the playoffs, but they're not
Okay.
making it past the first round like at all. I don't think.
Okay.
I think
Who's
the
picking up
Hurricanes
the slack?
will kill them.
Brad, I imagine.
Yeah, Brad is actually doing really well. But so on the Devils' point, yes, Sheldon Keefe was. I guess Kovacevic said something like, "Oh, we have to do this, we have to do that," and Sheldon Keefe afterwards in the presser was like, "Maybe he should just be focused on playing better." And it was like,
no, you're
yeah.
doing Kovacevic wrong.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe
it was not his place,
yeah.
but I don't know what the quote was. But
I just think like you look at some of the bigger teams, right? I think the Devils will get knocked out because they don't have that physicality and they don't have their top 2 skill players, right? But the Panthers, the Caps, I mean, and even Ottawa could have a sneaky run.
yeah,
If Ottawa plays,
we've had, by the way, the Panthers number this year.
You know what?
We've been winning, and we won recently 3-1.
Yeah. You know what I'm messing up though? If you get the second wild card slot, you're gonna play the best team, right? So you're gonna play the Caps.
Okay, yeah.
So that's a tough.
So yeah,
entry.
basically.
So if you hop the Senators though,
we need to hop the Senators to have a better chance.
Yeah. 'Cause then you might play the Leafs.
I'm obviously gonna still be excited if we play the Caps, but
yeah.
do I think we'll win it? No, I don't think we'll win that. And it's a good step up because we need this core group to experience playoff hockey, especially Slavkovsky. Lane will be cool for him to do.
Hudson, Caulfield, Suzuki again. Like it was pretty cool to see those guys just like when they come on the ice and they're all like huddled up together. I'm like, damn, that's a core you can get excited about.
Yeah, it's
even though they're small, like Hudson and Caulfield are small. Suzuki and Slav aren't that small, but like
Caulfield's sturdy though. Like Lane, I mean, there were when we drafted, there were complaints about like, I guess his weight or something, and like trying to bulk up.
Yeah.
He's a skinny guy, and maybe there's
when
room
you're that
to bulk
young,
up more.
Yes, when you're that young,
so
dude.
Add that into the talent he already has. It's he's only going to get better, and we haven't even spoken about the Calder race. He's still ahead.
I think it makes a better case for him since they're making this push and since he's like.
Yeah.
But
sure.
at the same time, though.
He had 28 minutes against the Avs game.
Yeah.
He's been playing out of his mind in terms of time on ice. And you can see Marty, like, really relies on him. Like, he's the real deal. And, I mean, we already established that. But now, in terms of winning the Calder, I don't know. In terms of the role, Celebrini may get more points, but the role that Lane plays is arguably more challenging and better because if we do make a playoff spot, because like he directly contributed to that, raising the bar of the team.
Yeah. He's good.
Yeah, he's good.
He's really
good. And whereas last year I would have turned out the TV if we were down 3-0 or 4-1. I continued to tune in because I felt like we could come back, and we did against the Avs. And it was absolutely insane when Devo scored that amazing backhander goal. He's been playing out of his mind too. So you don't. He was on the trading block, right? And then Suzuki says, "Yeah, don't trade him, don't trade anyone." And then now he's just playing out of his mind, like
crazy.
So we're seeing that secondary scoring that is off the top line, and this is what we needed throughout the years. Like last year it was mostly the top line, and the same year before. We just it doesn't have to be that much, but like some secondary scoring. That's what we needed. Alex Newhook in the center position. You kind of forget that Doc is like even there on the team.
Yeah, well he's out.
Yeah,
right?
like
That's
the stretch after the Four Nations, like with Doc being out, you could see how well the team has been, adjusting to that. They switched between Beck being in there and Waugh playing on the second line. Waugh's working out. He scored 2 goals.
Mm-hmm.
Struble playing like very good defensive game and like getting points too. He's actually like that Islanders game. He was like a plus 2 or 3. And similar to the Colorado game, like, so you don't feel the loss of Gouli, although Gouli is going to come back soon. Supposedly he's making the trip over out to St. Louis. So things are going well. I mean, I'm just waiting for the moment to see a losing streak though. Like that. See again the learned side of me of the previous several years is still there. But I still have obviously I'm like relieved because we made a huge step up this year. You know, the fact that we're even talking about a potential playoff spot is just like I wouldn't have guessed that at the beginning of the year.
We didn't bet anything, right?
No.
But
week one, I was just
I'm glad we didn't because I would have been so bullish on Rangers are making it Habs.
Yeah, it was literally like it's like week one.
Flopped.
When we first made the first episode, you were like, yeah, it's probably gonna be the same thing as last year.
Dude, it really sucks because the last 3 years, I literally was like, this is the year. Every year, I was more confident that okay, last year. You know, we lost in the conference final. This is the year. Then they got screwed by Akira Schmid in the first round. And then I'm like, all right, we're coming back. New coach. We're the best team in the regular season. This is the year.
Yeah.
And then we didn't have it. And then this year I was like, that sucks. I didn't quite think that. It was like the year that they would win, but I was like, they're contenders. They're going to be in it. And then after the first like 15 games, I'm like, oh.
So pretty much almost the opposite happened to each of our teams because your drop. I'm not saying drop off because I think they are.
It's a massive drop off, dude. No,
but
you can
like
say it.
Maybe not President's Trophy, but like 4th place in the Eastern, you know, something like that. Whereas us, like,
I would
maybe, you know, thinking like of the draft, like we get like I don't know 8th or 9th pick, like so we're out of playoff spot, but 9th pick. But like if we keep it up, like seeing the playoff for the first time since 2020, since our run in 2021, pretty much. That's
huge.
I can't wait. You should hear the crowd. I mean, you've seen the highlights. The Islanders game, I actually attended it. Just a huge Habs crowd presence there. We came with a sign for Brendan Gallagher. That's why we have a sign him up there.
Yep.
And he scored just the probably the
breakaway.
Best poetic and just beautiful goal I've ever witnessed in my entire life. Yeah, for real.
Why? Why was it that good?
Because because of his own personal life and also seeing it just so up close. It was beautiful. On Sorokin,
I've seen better. Come on.
Of course, but it's Brendan Gallagher. You know,
I know,
it's
that's
not
your boy.
It's not.
That's your namesake.
It's not Henrik Zetterberg, you know, or Datsuk doing a breakaway, you know.
It's true.
It's one of those grinder, loyal players on your squad. The only one pretty much remaining since the 2021, him and Anderson, since the last run to the playoffs. I just would love to see a good finish, an OT/shootout. They're like 6 for 14 this year. I know I shouldn't criticize too much, but to really step up the game, I feel like finishing an OT and shootout would like those games are gonna come back and bite us if we don't don't hit the playoffs because it's like those little games where you just didn't get the 2 points.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they're gonna bite us. Yeah, it's gonna kill.
But what's good is you won't have to do if you make it to the playoffs. 3-on-3 is not. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, that's true.
So like, if you're a better 5-on-5 team and you lose when it gets to 3-on-3 or shootout, throw it out the window in the playoffs. As long as you're there, just be the better 5-on-5 team. That's why the Panthers have done so well. I want to do a little exercise, unless you have more.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
We'll talk about things if things come up.
I want to go through the Rangers' remaining schedule, and I want you to tell me what is a win versus what is a loss for the Rangers, and then I'll do it for the Habs.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so Rangers, their next game is against the Kings. Win or loss?
That's a loss.
Okay, so 1 loss. Anaheim?
Win.
Okay, so 1-1. San Jose?
Win.
2-1. Okay, for the rest of the month there. Minnesota, we just beat them in OT, but
What was the score?
3-2, I think.
Let's say 1 point.
1 point. Okay, I like that. So that's 2-1-1. The Devils.
Ooh.
That's a tougher one.
That's like a toss to me, like a win or loss.
So we'll say 1 point again, just since it's in the middle.
2-1-2.
2-1-2. Okay. Tampa.
How's the record
loss.
Tampa?
I don't know. I think loss personally.
Okay, 2-2-2.
Yes, 2-2-2. Philly.
Win 3-2.
Okay, 3-2-2. The Islanders.
You beat them last time.
Yeah, but
They're on a
if
heater.
they're on a heater.
Oh man.
If you're in the between, we could give them one. So we're 3-2-2 right now.
Yeah, let's give them more. Let's give them one.
Okay, 3-2-3.
3-2-3.
Carolina.
Loss.
So
3-3-3.
3-3. Florida.
Oof.
Loss.
Loss.
I think loss. So 3-4-3, and then final Tampa.
Let's give them a win.
Oh wait, really? Okay.
Four.
So that's 4-3-3. So how many points is that? 4 is 8. 3 is 3. So that would be 11 more points. That puts them at
Yeah, what's this?
85 points.
Woo!
That's nothing, dude. And I've always thought I've always thought 90.
Well, 85.
Yeah, that's 11 points.
Yeah, okay.
And they're at 74, so that's 85. I've always thought 90 is kind of the cutoff. Like if you're above 90, you're in a good spot.
Like yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's 85. So let's go through
Habs.
because Rangers have played 71 games. They have 11 left. Habs have played 69 games. Nice. And
We have 13 games.
13 left.
So
Yes.
okay, St. Louis. So St.
Oh,
Louis
they're doing well.
the best team right now.
Yes.
You know, next to Montreal, it's gonna be a big one because they
Dude,
need to show up.
They're on a heater.
They need to show up here.
They've been like one of the best teams lately.
Let's just say loss, okay?
Okay,
Let's
I'll
just
say loss. Okay, so 0-1.
Philly beat, so 1-1.
1-1.
Carolina, we beat them last time, like pretty substantially.
I hear you, but you're gonna give yourself a win there. It's a back-to-back too.
So what about?
It's a back-to-back. I think you lose that one.
Okay, you know what?
We'll do 1-1-1.
You know,
1-1-1.
I will account for worst case scenario because that's how I think.
Yeah. Why don't we do this?
no,
1-1-1 for those three because
No, one. Let's just say 1.
1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Okay, 1 and 2.
Beat Florida.
You think
Yes.
for sure?
Beat Florida.
All right, 2 and 2. Play Florida again. 2 days later.
OT.
Okay, so 2-2-1.
2-2-1.
Boston.
Beat Boston.
3-2-1.
3-2-1.
Philly. Beat Philly.
4-2-1.
Beat Nashville.
5-2-1. Let's say lose to Detroit because
Okay.
we've been losing to them.
Okay.
So 5-3-1.
Okay. That's
Sorry. Did we lose track?
that's 9 games, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 left. That's 13. So yeah, that's too much. Right?
What did I say wins to?
Or no, you need 13. That's good. Okay, yeah. 5-3-1.
So lose. Yeah.
5-3-1, and then you play Ottawa, Toronto back to back.
Okay. Let's say beat Ottawa 6-3-1.
Okay.
Lose to Toronto
6-4-1.
6-4-1.
Chicago, you're winning 7-4-1.
7-4-1.
Carolina, last game of the season.
7-4-1. Let's say lose.
Let's say 7-5-1.
7-5-1.
So that's
15 points. 7-5-1.
yeah, that's 15 points. That puts you at 90.
Yeah, we can do that. We can
And
do
what
it.
was the Rangers?
So win 7
Wait, what was the
games.
Rangers? 4-3-3.
Yeah, it is 4-5-1 or some.
No, it was 4-3-3.
4-3-3. Yeah,
Or
you're right.
4-3
You're right.
That's 7 plus 3 is 10. No, it would be one more. Either way,
Okay, so we need to win 7. Okay, to really guarantee it, 8 out of the 13 left. But 7 clean wins. Like, let's get 7
I think
clean
you have
wins.
a very good chance. I think the Rangers are shot. Like playing the Tampa and Florida twice, and then having like these just like Minnesota's. That's a good team. I think Montreal has.
7 clean wins. That's all we need, boys.
It's in
7 clean wins.
You hold the power there.
It's ours to lose, I think, because 7 wins for the last,
7
13
wins should
games
get you
is
there.
not I'm not asking a lot.
7
there.
for 13 is just over 500.
Yeah, so like, they could do that. They could do that, and that's given that Islanders keep winning. Well, if they win more than that, then they will overtake us. But yeah, if they win at the same pace, the Islanders, or I guess the Rangers.
No, if they win if the Islanders win the same amount of games,
we
you
have
win.
it over.
You're up
Yeah,
2.
Yeah. So 7.
I think.
To really guarantee
7
it, I'd
wins.
say 8 or 9 wins.
I think 7.
Or bring
regulation
those
wins
5
gets you.
losses give me 3 OT losses with the 7 wins.
Yeah.
We're in. Yeah. Yeah.
I think you have a good shot. The math is
I just
not mathing.
I don't know
for
what
Rangers.
I. It's not so much I want to make the playoffs for me. I want them to make the playoffs for them because it's just like it's
so
just
selfless.
It's just like, they're a young team. They want the experience. It's not that you expect to win the Stanley Cup, but it's to get the experience. I think they for their own development, it'd be really great for these young guys to get experience in.
I kind of feel like the opposite. Like these guys have had the experience. They need to just win, and they're not winning. For the Rangers. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They have extensive experience.
Most of them. I mean, there's Othman and Berard that are in the lineup that haven't been
Where
in the
did
playoffs.
Lav used to coach? Was it Carolina?
The Caps.
Oh, the Caps.
And we killed them in the first round.
Oh, there you go.
That's going to be the same thing. If we make it, we're playing the Caps and we're getting swept.
Wow, the irony sometimes with the coaching.
Spencer Carberry is a good coach.
Yeah. Where was he before?
I think he was in the Toronto system somewhere, like assistant or something. And dude,
Toronto
they also
missed
they
out.
made such great moves in the offseason, the Caps.
They did, but they drafted really well. Like McMichael and Proteus or Protus.
Protus, yeah.
Protus are like drafted.
They weren't like when Laviolette was on the team. Those guys were not getting the playing time, and now they are. So it's kind of like.
Wow, that says a lot.
I wish
says a
the
lot to
Rangers
me.
just hired Chris Knobloch. They could have done it. He was in Hartford.
We got Marty quick. Yeah, but now see.
He'll be a Ranger coach in a couple years.
Yeah. We had Marty when we took the bet. We gave him the chance, and now he's going to be an amazing coach for the next 10 years when he coaches in the NHL.
I'm interested to see what the coaching carousel does in the offseason because, I don't know.
Some of these guys need to go. Like, they've been on the block for way too long.
I don't know, what are the Rangers going to do? They're just going to fire Laviolette with no backup plan? Like, what's the backup plan?
The assistant might just
I like
take
Pekka
over.
and I like Muse, but, clearly something's not working with these guys.
Yeah. Well, we got rid of Burrows for our power play.
Alex Burrows.
And it's been, it hasn't been as worse as when Burrows was in. So, yeah, he's in the back offices now.
God, I wonder who would step up. Dave Maloney.
But also the GM does set the tone of how, the culture should be.
I think Drury's fractured it a bit, unfortunately.
Just a bit. He needs to recover it somehow. I don't know how.
He does great with transactions. It's just I think
it's relations. It's human relations.
I think he needs another position for someone else to be the player relation because he's good
Isn't
at getting
that president?
He's good at getting value.
Isn't that president?
I think he holds both though. I think he holds GM and president.
Yeah, well, we have two. Yeah. We
I think he does good at the transaction side and gets value for players that maybe we don't value as much, but clearly he's kind of not messing up, but getting under the skin of some of these guys because he's not telling them or he's not being that liaison.
Well, it started with Trouba.
Started with Goodrow.
Oh, really? Goodrow, yes.
Where they just put him on waivers.
Dude, that is such disrespect.
It was savage, though.
That's such disrespect.
He had to do it, and he's been the worst player in the league since then.
In the league?
Yes, he was a 0 on the analytic charts, %.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's also he was not expecting to leave. It definitely takes a toll on you. I think he was renting a house in town and just looking forward to being here for a while.
Wow, bad teammates for not inviting him over. We invite our players over once they come.
What do you mean?
Hey, come live with us. I don't care if I have a wife and kids.
I think he was renting from Panarin or something.
Oh, exactly. Panarin should have said, "Hey, why don't you just stay over in my place?"
What? With his whole family? What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, well, this area is you can't really do that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but maybe the culture isn't there for you guys.
Shut up. It was there too much. They get so sad that he's gone. It's
That's true. And even though I rag on Dvorak, the players supposedly love him around, so I cannot.
He's such a goon. Get him out of here.
He's not a goon.
No, I just don't like him.
He doesn't smile. He should smile more. Maybe
he does
people
no
will like him
bucket
better.
in warm-ups though.
That's true. That's
crazy.
true.
Shows off his curls.
He's got amazing curls. I mean, and he's got a nice backhand curl, I guess.
I guess so. All right, anything else on the Habs side?
Habs, let's see where we go. We're playing really competitive. I hope they just don't burn out, get any further injuries, because but they've been playing their socks off. Like they've been playing really well. We want to obviously maintain a lead for one, because there was that Seattle game where we scored 4 in a row after being down 2-0, and then gave it all up and lost in OT, and probably try to score first. Like I've said it before, like I feel comfortable when they're down first now, and because they do actually come back, but actually gaining the lead first in the first period would be much better. Have had great like middle and like third period games, but having a good first period and like a good game all throughout, that's like I want to see that more, and also just finishing more in the OT. But that's like, again, as you mentioned, just like kind of a toss of the coin. Shootout sucks, so yeah, it's not too much to rag on there, but
I don't know. I'm like, I want the Rangers to keep losing and get a better pick in the draft, but they're kind of what it seems like.
It's okay. McKenna next year, not this year.
They're just gonna sit in that like first spot out of a wild card to third spot out of.
That's
a wild
rebuilding
card.
hell.
Sucks. We're not trying to.
If you're
rebuild,
rebuilding,
so we'll see. I'm just praying that Perreault makes the team next year.
My question is if this happens again next year, that'd be really.
If it happens again next year, they have to blow it up. Like that's what it comes down to. Drury will be gone. Whoever the coach is, if it's a new coach, I guess he'll.
So
maybe
rebuild
stay.
around Shesterkin
And Fox and.
What if Fox brings you a good center? Like,
dude, it's Adam Fox. He's like a top.
Yeah, we say
in the league.
PK Subban.
No. Dude, Subban. No way. You got Weber. You got a better defender.
Yeah, that's sick. Make a trade like that.
All right,
I don't
we'll
know.
get McCarr then. We'll go Fox for McCarr. That'll
Fox
work.
for maybe a dying Quinn Hughes in Vancouver.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe he doesn't want to be in Vancouver.
Yeah, but I can't do that to Fox.
He did it to Calgary. He did it to Calgary.
It would never happen.
He did it to Calgary.
No.
He said, "Oh, I actually don't want to play for my drafted team."
I know, but too bad.
No respect.
All right, that's our show, everyone. Thanks so much for watching again. It's a quicker episode here because we're not going game by game because it would be disgusting to go over all these Rangers L's.
And it would be awesome to go over it. I don't want to rub salt in the wound.
Oh yeah, you would. Yeah, you would.
On bad.
But yeah, I think we'll see what happens. We have 10 to 13 games left, so that's kind of where we're at.
Tune in next time. I think we'll know definitively the direction of where it's going. I think by a week and a half.
I doubt it. They're gonna have like win 2, lose 2. We're gonna be in the same spot in a week. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on.
There's so much jostling. It's like every day there's a new team in that last wild card spot. So at least it's kind of fun.
Let's say one more thing. I hate the Islanders.
Yeah, I hate the Islanders too.
The Islanders
we can agree on
They're
that. I hate
such a
them.
boring team.
Yeah, they stink.
Like Sorokin was the only guy that really he stole that game. He stole that game with the Habs because we had 40 shots on net. Over 40.
Big
41.
anti-Islanders podcast here.
Yeah, it's not good.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Take care.